G'day guys, how are we doing? Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, January 18th, 2025, and I've still sort of found myself having to stop and think carefully about the exact day and year or even the month, because I don't know about you guys, but normally takes me about a month, I was about to say year, a month to sort of get my head around the fact that it's a new year, and I have sort of found myself writing the wrong year constantly in the first 18 days of this year. Now also the title of the show is Walking Boxing. We're not doing a lot of walking at the moment because Neil has found a nice shady little tree and wants to have a little bit of a spell, which is what he always does. I've left this a little bit late today. Normally I do it sort of about the first third of the walk. This is probably the last third of the walk when he really slows down. Just one of those days where I keep running into people who want to chat and the dogs want to have a go at Neil, and we can probably hear it now in the background. There's a guy on looks like a lawnmower or something, and there was some guy just before with a horse yelling out to his horse and yelling and whistling and carrying on. So it's been one of those days as far as trying to get this done. But we've just found a little spot at the moment. You've probably seen in the background there's some tennis courts and all that there. It's a really nice little area. The Mount Macedon football ground. It's not Mount Macedon, the Macedon Rangers football club just are in the background over there, the football ground, and they have there the tennis courts and all that there as well. I think they have a little indoor area as well. They have a gym or something, I don't know, but it's a really, really nice little area. But enough of where I live. It's about the boxing. And one thing I forgot to mention yesterday, January 17th is Muhammad Ali's birthday. Now the reason I didn't pick it up yesterday, I do know his birthday by the way is January 17th, but the boxing sites that listed the fact that it was his birthday, of course they're American, so they're a day behind, so it's sort of come up on my feed a little bit sort of yesterday afternoon that it was his birthday, and or else I would have mentioned it yesterday. But yes, January 17th is Muhammad Ali's birthday, and happy birthday to the greatest. He would have turned 83, and I still remember when he passed away back in 2016. We actually did a boxing event a few days afterwards, and I remember we did the 10 count on the bell, and we had a video montage on the screens and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, just if you can hear that lawnmower in the background, guys, apologies about that. But yeah, because even though he was American, he really was the world's champion, wasn't he? He was our champion, and even though he was before my time, I think no matter what age you are, you know of Muhammad Ali, you know of his exploits, you know the aura that he had and his legacy that he left on the world, and not just in boxing, but just around the world. Just a much, much loved man. And if you've followed this channel for a while, you can remember when I went to Louisville, Kentucky about 18 months ago, and I went to his childhood house, and I went to his grave, and I went to the Muhammad Ali Centre, and just an unbelievable experience. And it's one thing to sort of stand on his porch of his childhood home. I mean, it was just a little house, sort of hard to get your head around, I suppose. But once you actually go to his grave site, and they have a little bench there, and to actually sit on the bench and just ponder, and pay respects, of course, but also just ponder the impact that this man had on the world, not just in boxing, but on the world itself. He is such a much loved man for all different reasons, and it was just great to be there, and as I said, pay respects at his graveside and go to the Muhammad Ali Centre, which is just a whole sort of thing, just all dedicated to the impact that he had on the world. And then of course you would have seen last year I went to his training camp over in the States in Pennsylvania there, and how good of that was, an experience that was, the fully preserved training camp, to sort of have access to that and just I had my own private tour too, which was great, but then to actually just wander around by myself, it was fantastic. Now the interesting thing too with the fact of being Muhammad Ali's birthday yesterday is that also the current heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk, also has a birthday on January 17th, and he turned 38. So happy birthday to the current king, Alexander Usyk. And inevitably the Comparisons, of course, came up about the two. What would have happened if they had a fought, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really sort of given it much thought, but just different eras. Just one of those things, normally you can picture certain fighters fighting other fighters. I can't picture Alexander Usyk in the ring with Muhammad Ali. They're just obviously different eras, just a different time. I can't picture it. But if they had a fought, they're actually, the interesting thing about Alexander Usyk is in today's day and age with the heavyweight division, he's considered small. I think we all look at Usyk as being a very small heavyweight, but he was actually the same size as Muhammad Ali, same dimensions, same height, same weight, about 220, I think 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", but 220 pounds. That was back in the day, the prototypical heavyweight. Now these days it's considered small. I think mainly for the fact that he's come up from cruiserweight, just people think he's small, but it's an interesting bit of trivia there that he actually was the same size as Muhammad Ali. And I suppose if they had a fought, it would have been interesting. Muhammad Ali only ever fought two southpaws in his career, and I can't remember their names. They weren't obviously any one of note, but would he have had problems with the southpaw style of Alexander Usyk? Would Usyk have had problems with Ali's speed and footwork and movement? It would have been a great fight, Of course, I'm going to pick Muhammad Ali, but I suppose what you got to do is just take off the hat of, well, it's Muhammad Ali, so he just would have won. Would have been a tough fight. Alexander Usyk, he's what, just, I've said it a few times, and he's just one of those guys that just gets the job done. He just finds a way to win. But it would have been a fascinating fight, wouldn't it? The southpaw style of Usyk, the brilliance of Muhammad Ali. Yeah, it would have been a great fight. But anyway, of course, as I said, I'm going to pick Muhammad Ali, but we'll never know, will we? But just a little bit of trivia there for you, that it was their shared birthday yesterday. All right, on to some other news now. A fight that has been, well, not cancelled, has never actually been officially announced, was the Fundora Errol Spence fight. Will not happen. Now, Errol Spence has put it on his social media page. He'll fight when he's ready. Well, that's great, mate. You haven't fought for over 18 months, or probably actually it is about 18 months now. No fight on the horizon. 35 years old, I think he is. Not a lot of options. I don't know why he would be sort of planting his feet and saying, I'll fight when I'm ready, mate. You haven't got a lot of options out there. And Sebastian Fundora and his management, what are you thinking? It's been nearly a year since he won the belts from Tim Tszyu, or he won the vacant WBC, didn't he? And then won the WBO belt. And he still hasn't got an opponent anywhere near locked in. That is just crazy. Bad management, if you ask me. I know there's lots of things that happen, lots of moving parts, I get that. But if you remember that Errol Spence got in the ring last March, was it last March 29th, 30th, whatever it was, when he beat Tim Tszyu, got in the ring. And it was announced then that looks like this is going to be the next fight. We're nearly a year later and nothing's happened. And now it's been scrapped entirely. This is one thing I hate about boxing these days, is prolonged, drawn out negotiations or pandering or whatever the hell they do. I just don't understand it. And here we are, it gets scrapped, and Fundora has just wasted a year of his career. He's got the belts riding on a high, could have had the Terence Crawford fight, decided to go for Errol Spence, and look, here we are. So, I don't know. I just look at well-managed fighters out there, the other superstars who fight regularly. When I say regularly, twice a year. They make a lot of money, they're always active, they're always doing the thing. And then you get guys like Spence, and in this case Fundora, even Terence Crawford to a certain extent, Gervonta Davis, who just stagnate, fight once a year. I know there's some of the best fighters out there, but just how good could they be, and the legacy they would leave if they fought more regularly. But all that aside, but this particular fight, I just cannot believe that we've had 10 months of this fight going to happen, and now it just gets scrapped. Now who's Fundora going to fight? You've got Crawford, who's eyeing Canelo. I don't think he'll want a bar of Fundora now, so he just wants Canelo or nobody by the sounds of things. You've got Ortiz fighting Madrimov. Who else is there? Bolachok, did he have an opponent lined up? I can't remember, but a lot of the Premier 154 pounders, Berichuk just fought, didn't he? But a lot of the Premier 154 pounders just aren't around. So you get a feeling that Fundora will probably just fight just someone ranked in the top 10, and it'll just be a nobody, it'll be a nothing fight, and he'll probably waste another year of his career. Yeah, that whole PBC thing, I don't know, look, I'm not obviously behind the scenes with it all, but it's just, I look at it for what it is, and that is bad management on Sebastian Fundora's behalf. But anyway, that's up there. One fight actually is going to happen, or fights with a plural, is, I mentioned yesterday it was going to be maybe Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez, but it has been announced, well, I'm not sure it's actually official yet, but it's been announced by a few different sites and reporters and everything else that Ryan Garcia will fight Pitbull Cruz, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, in May, and on the undercard, I think it's the undercard, same card anyway, Devin Haney will fight Jose Ramirez. And I said yesterday that is a very, very risky fight for Devin Haney. They're obviously confident they'll get past Ramirez, and look, he probably should get past him, but it's a dangerous fight. So yeah, Ryan Garcia, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez on the same card in May, which could work out well if you're looking to maybe, if you're someone like me who likes to get over there for the fights, for Cinco de Mayo with Canelo. I'm not sure who he's going to fight. I certainly wouldn't go if it was William Skull, but it might be Canelo against somebody, and then a week or so later, hopefully it might be the Haney and Garcia doubleheader. Now it's going to take place in Times Square in Manhattan. I don't know how the hell they're going to do that. Apparently it's going to be outdoors, so I don't know. But if you've been to Times Square before, there's definitely the area for it, but that is a major tourist area, Times Square. So again, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm sure they'll figure something out. But yeah, I like it. It's a good card. I think it's an interesting fight. Look, I think you would think that Pitbull would put the pressure on Garcia, but you would think that Garcia would have the height and reach and everything to be able to handle Cruz. And again, even though it's a dangerous fight, you would think that Haney will get the chocolates over Ramirez, and then the two will fight later in the year. So yeah, it should be a good fight, or a good card, good event. So we'll see what happens there. The other one I did see was that Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn are now talking about a 5x5, and the fight they want to headline that, or be one of the main fights on that card, is the Jai Pataya Zurdo Ramirez fight. But there's been a little bit of a hiccup in things. The WBA have mandated that Zurdo Ramirez fight, I think it's Uniel Dorticos, who is the #1 WBA challenger. So that has really made things a little bit hard for that matchup. It will happen probably later in the year. So Jai's going to have to find a different opponent. Maybe they might fight on the same card. I don't know, but yeah, that looks like it's going to be the case. And it does look like Ramirez is going to actually take that fight. He's not going to sidestep it and try and pay Dorticos a fee or whatever. I think he's actually going to honour the mandatory. And as I said, that does put back the Jai Pataya fight till maybe later in the year. But the 5x5 thing is very appealing, isn't it? Golden Boy versus Matchroom. What a card that would be. So many different matchups we could have. And I think I might have a bit of a think about it today, and I might talk about it tomorrow, maybe some possible matchups if they did a Golden Boy and Matchroom 5x5. I think it'd be fascinating. Can you imagine the lead up to it? We thought the Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren exchanges leading up to it were entertaining. Can you imagine Oscar and Eddie Hearn? It'd be fantastic. It'd be great. So I'll have a bit of a think about that anyway. But yeah, look, that's probably about it, guys. I think as always, little things are just popping up. We're starting to get a little bit busier into the year now. Every day there seems to be something different coming up. But yeah, we'll just keep at it, and geez, it's a little bit hot out there today too, just quietly. But we'll keep on top of it. Of course, George Kambosos, no announcement yesterday. Obviously, you didn't watch yesterday's episode. George, come on, mate. You did say it was going to be this week. It is now Saturday. Technically, it's probably the end of the week, so hopefully we get an announcement soon. But I'm sure when it happens, it will be definitely worth the wait. So, guys, that's probably going to do it for today. Hope you have a great Saturday. I certainly will with the weather. Might go for a bit of a swim later, and we'll catch you tomorrow.